Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to paint this mini canvas. I think it's about 5x5. And I painted this sushi last year sometime, and I thought this would go so well with it. And this is from a reference photo from the Food Paint Challenge on Instagram. I will link that below. It is such a fun, it's my favorite art challenge online, and I like it because every Friday Dennis posts a different picture of food and then everyone paints it. It's fun. It's fun to see what other people do. And for materials, I'm going to use jelly acrylic and acrylic markers. You can use whatever you have on hand. Acrylic markers are fun for these little canvases, and it's just a direct to canvas ink. You don't need brushes. You don't need anything, fancy. You could do the whole painting in the markers if you wanted to. Now, I do want to conserve the marker ink a bit, so I will use my acrylic paints, but, definitely could do it all with the markers. In fact, a lot of times I will do those little mini 2x2 and 3x3 canvases with the markers, and they're just so fun. The neat thing about this paint is that it's an acrylic paint and you can varnish it and it's totally fine, but it washes off the palette so easily. Like when I took this palette to wash it the day after I had done this painting, I just run it under the water and the paint just all kind of just lifted, just kind of crinkled up, wrinkled up. It was weird, and I was able to wipe it right off and throw up the paper towel away. So that's really nice too, so you don't get paint down your drain and paint solids down your drain and whatnot. But that is the Himi Jelly Acrylic 48 color set, if you're curious. And I'll have it linked down below if you want to have a look and see if it might be right for you. I think they also have a 36 set. I'm not sure what I'm going to refill this with when it's done, because I like this format of just taking the silicone seal off and having the paint ready to go. I've been using this for probably about 9 months and it still has stayed wet. I do spray it with the Himi acrylic spray, and that keeps it nice and moist and ready to go every time I'm ready to paint. And I'm using the little palette that came with it, the little plastic palette. So it's a neat little rig. I don't know why they're not more popular, honestly. I think maybe because they don't have refills. I'm hoping that they might come out with refill pouches like they have for the jelly gouache. But yeah, I think it's a really cool idea, and a great way for someone like me who's used to doing watercolor, who likes to just open up a palette and go. It kind of gives you that same sort of satisfaction, less friction and into the art, and that's what I really enjoy doing. As for brushes, I recommend the Zen All Media line by Royal and Langnickel. I've been using this batch of brushes for years. I have it in this little brush vase, and they have lasted so well. I use them whenever I'm using gouache or acrylics, and they've held out so well. So I do recommend those if you are looking for some acrylic brushes. They're also very economical. You can get them in sets of 5, or you can buy them open stock. And a lot of the big box retailers have them. I know AC Moore used to sell them, and I think Michael sells them. And maybe your local store has them too. They have the silvery color barrel. In fact, one of our independent art stores in Maine carries these. So they're nice. They're easy to get, and they're so durable. I love how well they hold up for the price. If you would like a real-time version of this tutorial, you can find it up now in Critique Club. I decided to do a shorter, smaller one because our other January project in Critique Club is a massive oil painting, and it's going to be it's already got 3 hours of video for that. So I figured we'd do something a little bit easier for the second project for January 2026. If you're watching it later, that's where you'd find it, in Critique Club anyway. And now I'm going in with some details with the brush markers. I'm doing some stippling to create the texture of the toast, and yeah, just kind of layering and stippling. I'm trying not to redo anything I've done with the markers, or with the paint rather. I'm trying to use an economy of brush strokes. Sometimes it doesn't work out too well because look at that plate. I don't know what I was thinking when I painted that plate in there. It looks so messed up, but I think we end up fixing it pretty well. Actually, I wish I did the plate a little bit lower in the canvas instead of having that food smack dab in the middle. I wish I had it a little bit lower, because you can see from the reference photo, you could see just a little bit of a hand holding that up. But if I had it lower, I could have had it on a table, or I, could have just kind of fudged in the hand. Having it up so high, I actually end up having to take a reference photo of my hand so I could sketch at it, and you'll see that in a little bit later. But to get the look of the reflective, translucent, I think they're probably fish eggs on top of the salmon. I don't know. This is not the type of food I eat, but I thought it was really interesting looking, and I thought it would go really well with my little sushi painting. And honestly, you should see my kitchen. I should show a photo of my gallery wall in my kitchen. It's all of the small food paintings that I do, the mixed media food paintings that I do on stretch canvases. So, and then I have one massive, just big abstract canvas that I did just to kind of let loose one day. So it's very interesting. It's very different than the typical sketchbook work you see, and it's just stuff that's on canvases, because honestly I can stick a tack in the wall and hang a stretch canvas that way. So yeah, it comes right down to laziness, just like pretty much everything in my in my life. I go for the lazy route, right? Don't we all? So I'm just trying to like get a little more form to this plate, because I'm like, what is going on with the bottom of that plate? I think it's because I can't see the whole plate, so I'm making it up and I'm not doing a very great job of it. I've definitely got this weirdness on the bottom, and I know I've got to carve it back a bit. So I'm going in with the green, one of the green markers, and just trying to like negative paint around it to try to pull it back into shape a little bit. And it looks a little bit like a flying saucer at the moment, a flying saucer with a piece of salmon toast on it. It's like, it kind of has a sci-fi look to it. To me, it kind of reminds me of the old like silk screened posters, because the acrylic markers, they dry so fast, and you lay them down and they're very kind of like opaque and just direct. They just almost feel, and like unblended and whatnot, that it kind of reminds me of something you would see like on a silk screened poster, which I like that. I like that effect, to be honest. It's fun. It's fun. I did a bunch of mini canvases, and I have a video for this on my YouTube channel with alcohol with acrylic markers. They were the Ohuhu markers, and I did 3 different cocktails, and then I dropped them off at the free art exchange boxes in Bangor, because I thought it would be kind of fun, like do little mini canvases with little mini easels and then give them away. And I really like those paintings. I might have to repaint them. I kind of regret getting rid of them, because those would have been cute on my kitchen gallery wall as well. But it's also fun to, I don't know, sometimes I get overwhelmed with the amount of artwork that I have piling up around the house. So it sometimes makes you feel like, well, do I really need to paint more? Because look at all of this, what's the purpose? That's why I love sketchbooks, because it feels like it's done. When it's in the sketchbook, you've filled up a sketchbook that feels like its purpose, that feels productive. But when you have piles and piles of canvases and watercolor papers and stuff stacked up or in portfolios, it can kind of feel overwhelming. Like, why am I painting more? I've got so much here that I've already painted. So I'm thinking about doing some actually art grab bags, like with like a painting and 5 greeting cards, handmade greeting cards. So stay tuned for that. I'm thinking about doing that because I'm moving to a new studio in the upstairs of the house. Now the kids are all grown and flown. So I definitely want to downsize a bit. And I think, I would definitely like to clear out the finished art armoire at least, because I've got so much. And those are all smaller paintings too that I would be able to ship fairly economically within the United States. So that's my plan at the moment. I thought about doing art supply grab bags too. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not. That's daunting. That's making me kind of like, it's really slowing down my process of decluttering. And I think honestly, I would be better off here. I'm just trying to find something I can lift up, my tea warmer, to take a reference photo so I could get, so I could sketch a hand holding the plate. My friend Angela gave me that tea warmer, and it is wonderful. Oh my gosh, it is so good for keeping my mug of tea hot while I'm working. It's really, really great, really thoughtful gift. Thanks, Angela. So here I'm like, what the heck? What did I do? Oh my gosh. So it's like I forgot the space between my last 2 fingers, so then I had to go back in and paint. This is just like you can go back and forth. That's a good thing about acrylic markers, is you can just keep going back and forth and painting over, because they dry so fast. And actually they lift up pretty well too. I have a theory that the ink in acrylic markers is not exactly the same as acrylic ink in a tube. And I think the same for this the jelly gouache, not jelly gouache, a jelly acrylic, I think also is not the same. It's kind of like a hybrid. It almost feels like a hybrid between a gouache and an acrylic paint. Like it's got some acrylic polymer in there to keep it from like reactivating when you varnish it, but it washes off better. So it's like almost like a washable acrylic paint, where it's not like as washable as tempera or gouache, but it is more washable and scrubbable than like a regular acrylic paint. It's really neat. I like it, honestly. I really hope that the Hemi company comes out with refills. I would buy refills for this paint. But I'd want it in like a pouch or something, so that when you squeeze it, when you refill, you're getting all the air out of it. Like the jelly gouache comes in those pouches, or like the Sennelier abstract acrylic comes in those pouches. I think that's the way to go. I think that's the, or even aluminum tubes too, but those have gotten kind of expensive, it seems like. And I don't know the water-based material in metal. I don't know. I just think that if they could do something like that where it's not a bottle and you can squeeze the excess air out, it's really going to make a big difference with how long that product is going to last on the shelf. And if you were to buy a bunch of those refills, like that's 48 colors. If you needed to buy all the colors or wanted to have all the colors, you don't want them to spoil before you can use them. And I find that like shelf life in art materials greatly depends on how you store them, because I have like for instance, Lightwish and Paul Rubens, they say that their pastels have like a 3 or 4 year shelf life if stored properly. And I'm like, I can tell you right now that your pastels are going to last a heck of a lot longer if you store it properly. But I know they want to be, they want to err on the side of caution so they don't overpromise. And whatnot. But I also know that if you store things improperly, you're going to lose the shelf life. Like if you live in an arid climate and you've got markers, you're not going to get a very long shelf life out of those. If they're stored in a hot, dry area, they're just going to, the caps can be good, but they're not going to be totally airtight and they are going to dry out. Also, quality matters. I've got some old Spectrum Noir markers and they dried out within 6 months of buying them, brand new when they first came out. The product wasn't very good. The case of that wasn't very good. The case of the casing of the marker. Luckily, they fixed it. But unfortunately, if you had those first markers and you were buying refills for them, you had to refill them all the time because they were going dry on you. So, you got to buy good products, but you also have to store them properly. And I'm glad at how long these paints have remained, because I've had the Hemi gouache dry out on me, which is not a big deal because I just spray it with water and I use it, and it actually makes it a little bit lighter and more convenient for me. But that would not be the case with acrylics. They would be ruined. So I'm really pleased with how well these have held up. And there's not a ton of paint in them. That's the other thing. There's only like 12 mLs of paint per color. That's like a small tube of paint. That's like if you buy like budget acrylic paints or trial size acrylic paints, that's like the size of what those are. So you're not getting a ton of paint. So refills would be really good for that particular product. It's fun to watch this come back together because I was frustrated with how the little eggs were not looking translucent and glossy, but they look a lot better now. I'm looking back at it, in time lapse. And honestly, even though I struggled a bit and was frustrated with like the form of the plate and whatnot, I was pretty happy with how it came out. I was also kind of frustrated with how the skin tone looks because there's so much shadow there, and acrylic paints dry so quickly that you don't get as much blending capabilities that if it was gouache, I'd just go in with a wet brush and kind of smooth it together. So I was finding this just looked a little bit too rough in my opinion, but it's whenever I'm not happy with how my media is working, I will just try something else. That's the benefit of being a mixed media artist, is that if you're not getting the look you want with a certain type of paint, you can always grab a pencil, you can always grab a marker, you can always grab like a pastel. You can do something else, right? You could use a different type of paint if you need to. Here I'm just kind of trying to quickly layer up some of the lighter markers and blend them out. I haven't even swatched these markers, honestly. I just opened the box and decided to play with them. Arctic sent me these markers to try out. And they have little windows in the side and they're liquid ink. So I figured, do I really need to swatch them? I can kind of see what the ink is. It is a little bit different, on the outside because you're looking at wet ink versus, what it's going to be when it dries. But I don't like to swatch. Sometimes you have to, like for alcohol markers and for watercolors, because they look different. But acrylic, gouache, I usually don't. Pastels, I usually don't. And here I just felt like I had a lack of detail, so I'm going in with a brown fine liner, because it is a permanent fine liner. It will dry permanent, so I can varnish over it with no problem. And I'm going in with some colored pencil because it's like I just need a little bit of subtle highlight. I don't want it as bright as like an acrylic marker, but I gotta get some glow back in there. And so I'm using the pencil. Now the problem with the pencil is that it is catching that texture of the canvas and it's giving me a really rough edge that I don't like, but I can dissolve that with either an alcohol ink clear blender or some Gamsol, which you'll see me do that in a moment so that I don't have so much grain. Because that canvas grain, especially in such a small painting, is very aggressive. When you have like a cotton duct canvas and it's a large canvas, you're not going to notice that grain so much. But when you've got a small canvas like a 4x4 or 5x5, it's really apparent. I think this is actually 4x4 now that I'm looking at it. I don't know. It's either 4x4 or 5x5. Oh my gosh, it's funny. I am really bad at estimating canvas sizes. But yeah, it's really apparent, the grain of the canvas. You can see it right there in my thumb, how much it looks rough. because of how small it is in the size of the canvas. So just something to keep in mind. Now I took this marker, I actually dipped it in Gamsol because it was all dried out. It was an old alcohol marker, but you can buy empty markers and fill them with Gamsol if you want to, or you can just use a paintbrush in Gamsol, or you can use an alcohol-based marker. But I knew the alcohol marker was going to lift the acrylic paint, and I really didn't want that to happen, so that's why I went with the Gamsol. And I really like that kind of glossy jewel tone look I have now. It gave me that transparency and took away the texture that I didn't like. And yeah, I think that's working pretty well. And I did want a little bit more definition, especially on that thumb that's closest, like on the thumbnail, so I can see that it's a hand. Because the hands always just look weird, don't they? They always look a little weird. And then I'm just trying to, you know, blend things out a little bit with the brush. And I'm doing some final highlights here with a white marker. This is surprisingly opaque. A lot of times I find that the brush pens, the brush acrylic markers, are a little less opaque than, say, like a hard plastic nib. But I thought that was actually pretty opaque, and I was pretty happy with it. And I varnished it before, I forgot to take a picture before I varnished it. There you can see it all done with the glossy varnish on it. Anyway, if you want to see this in real time, go check it out in Critique Club. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up before you go. And until next time, happy crafting.